Many personal relationships are based on deception. The most common personal deception is wearing of behavioral masks to hide perceived inadequacies. And under Aquarian we have helpful. The overriding philosophy is, how can I help you? Deceptive behavior will be universally rejected as an example form of behavior. Examples: imagine zero tolerance of telling of a lie. Leaders who deceive will not last long. Deceive others and find yourself socially alone. Relationships are based on communication and knowledge rather than appearance. Any comments on that? That's a very good point.
Well, we see over in this country right now a lot of that action going on around the current presidential race.
Yeah.
One little slip here or there, and all these people are professional thieves and liars.
Yeah.
To some extent, no matter what. But the really, really big ones are walking a tighter tightrope all the time, so that they don't let slip where they're really coming from. And this loss of secrecy removes one of the main tools of that deceiver. So this is more focused on intent instead of the tools of deceit.
And I guess also that they will be fighting all they can now to kind of keep these things secret, but it seems to be kind of failing on all levels. I mean, there's so much coming out now and again with the advent of the web, the internet. It's becoming more and more easy to expose people, and people who actually have some kind of inside information or want to reveal something can basically just put up a website and tell the world about it,
Absolutely, and that applies to misinformation that people put out as well.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. That's absolutely right.
So all of these things have a double-edged sword. There's so many little things that come out of this. Just like, as I mentioned, we're in a polar universe. Everything has black and a white, a dark and a light, opposites.
Mm-hmm.
And our challenge is to learn to recognize those opposites and build a balance.
Oh, yeah.
That's what one person considers evil, another one would consider a virtue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So much is in a matter of perception, and every challenge that we have ultimately is finding a balance.
Totally agree with that one. It seems to be very, very black and white in the world today, and I guess, again, that I don't know if it also is a mentality or a kind of frame of mind that is connected with the Piscean age and people who are, I guess, more inclined towards the new incoming or whatever, that either is born in or are changing with the new energies. That they're kind of
might be just the new awareness and the communication of, wait a minute, this isn't as black as it looks, and this isn't as white as it looks. What about? I think just that interrogation, that quest for, all right, what's really going on here is beginning to open people's eyes. Yeah,
exactly. Then you have another one here that I found very, very interesting and very much actually connected with religion to all of this, especially Christianity. Under Piscean we have sympathetic self-sacrifice. Sacrifice is considered a virtue. Victimhood is widely accepted, especially when played to sympathies of others. Examples: the very fabric of our society has become based on giving to others. Charities abound. Be as greedy as you want, but give a small part of your gain to others in visible ways to make everything okay. Self-sacrifice is considered a virtue. We are surrounded with glowing stories about the virtues of the sacrificing parent, child, spouse, etc. And under Aquarian we have friendly yet impersonal. Sacrifice is recognized for its destructive power. The emphasis will shift from gifts to opening opportunity and self-responsibility. Examples: sacrifice is no longer associated with love. The entire nature of religion and philosophy will change dramatically. A person sacrificing themselves for another will no longer be considered the hero, but will be frowned upon. You got a problem? Then fix it. Here's how to find a solution. Come back when you've done it. I think that's a great, a very important paragraph and a key thing. Any comments on that one?
Oh yes, one of the greatest misnomers in the world is equating sacrifice with love, which has been used to manipulate and control people for many, many, many years. Sacrifice is simply a self-destructive action that is based on low self-esteem. You're sacrificing part of yourself. Now, there are so many gray areas in there. A given act may be a sacrifice or a loving act, depending on the one perspective from the person doing it. It is not a matter of the act itself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Give you an example. You are hungry. Should I give you part of my body to eat as a sandwich?
Exactly. No, that's not a good idea.
Not at all. So when we are lauded for sending our young folks out into some sort of a war based on greed and manipulation, as all wars somehow seem to be.
Yep.
Where is the honor and glory in that, beyond the imaginings of the propagandists?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, I guess, as you mentioned here in this paragraph, that this is not about, helping others and things like this. This is about, not giving away yourself and your entire life in order to. I guess it's more of a. If everyone actually do take care of themselves in the first place, a lot more, we wouldn't end up in a lot of situations that we have today, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people use victimhood as a way to manipulate other people. Oh, I'm a victim. Please help me.
Yeah.
Well, get up off your butt and go to work.
Yeah.
I've been unemployed for 15 years. I could mope around and sit on a street corner somewhere, or I'd say, okay, I'm going to go out and see what kind of business I can develop to help some other people and make a fair income in exchange. Let me give you another more mundane example of the sacrifice thing, get away from the extreme. Let's say you have an aged aunt in the hospital, and this is someone whose relationship has not been too wonderful. She's a crotchety old crone, and you have never enjoyed spending 1 minute with her, and you go visit her because your mother or father or some inner programming says, well, you've got to do it. And you go and you hate every minute of it. You spend the next 2 weeks complaining to everybody in the world about it, but you did it because you were supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a sacrifice of your time and energy. You could have gone to visit the aunt because you wanted to spread some love in her life, irrespective of the fact that she was incapable of absorbing it directly. And it's the same act, but comes from a totally different perspective.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And again, I have this a little bit also connected with the next one here I want to read. And this is a very important one about
how they kind of flow and are intertwined.
Exactly, very much so. This is about idolizer and a worshipper, and this is under Piscean again here. Society is filled with all kinds of idols, from rock stars to the rich and powerful. Worshipping as a form of securing power is rampant. The position is more important than performance. Examples: celebrities are cheered in spite of, I actually don't know this word here, philandering, right?
Yes,
okay.
All their affairs and social destructive behavior.
Okay. Misinformation rules, idolizing partnership eventually disappoint, and under Aquarian we have know, then understand. People will be recognized for who they are. Position itself will have little value. The focus will shift to the knowledge and skill itself rather than the personality involved. Examples: leaders will not be able to hide beneath their image. Knowledge and performance will be the universal measure of interest and success. And I think that one is also, very, very important. There's too many people giving away their power to someone else, and they're not thinking for themselves.
I spent many years working in the corporate environment, and invariably there would be someone who wanted to credit for the good stuff, and somebody else, or maybe even the same person, who wanted to dump blame on somebody else. And it was always a credit and blame game, never focused actually on getting the job done. In fact, the people who actually got the job done were usually reviled in one way or another or put down because then those in charge would have to actually give credit to somebody else, and that was never allowed. But the real importance here is discernment, as that's one of the things that we have neglected a lot on this planet. We buy into all kinds of things people say, whether it's be prejudice or whatever it is, but we just go the simple route, stick with the simple judgments. For example, we call very typically many people our friends. But it has been said many times in years past that if you, at the end of your life, can count on on the fingers of one hand truly great friends, you are greatly blessed. So those people that have dozens of friends have not yet had a shakeout in their life to find out that they are friendly acquaintances, which is a whole world different than a friend. Now, I know 3 ways you can determine real friends. One is an extended hospital stay, another is a cross-country move, and another is a divorce. I don't recommend any of them.
Right. That's good. I want to return to that idea of leaders and followers a little bit. Do people need leaders? I mean, what's the thing with that? Because that seems to be the case right now. And people are constantly looking for someone, to telling them what the deal is, basically.
Well, let's see now. We have, as a society and part of the coming to the dysfunctionality of this planet, for that matter, have picked up the judgment that we are inadequate. Okay? So when you stamp the word inadequate on your forehead and an idea comes through from the inner self, it automatically goes in the wastebasket. Because it's automatically labeled as inadequate. That's how people are consider themselves not very creative. So as they have bought into, and this is probably the number one biggest piece of emotional baggage that we have to get rid of, as we have bought into this level of inadequacy, which varies from individual to individual, we most certainly need to turn outward for answers when all the answers are within.
Oh, yeah. Yep, definitely.
Because we've labeled the within as being anywhere from inadequate to evil.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly.
Let's carry that one step further, because this brings up a picture that is very important to this whole thing and may tie in with some other folks. Can we basically agree in general concept that this universe was created by some creative source?
Are you asking me if we could ever do this on the planet, you mean? Like a race?
Well, if we can generally agree theoretically in concept that I think most of us can find this level of agreement that this universe and this planet and this solar system was created by some sort of a creative source.
I would agree with you, but I could find a lot of people that wouldn't, I guess.
Well, there are a number of people who are busy trying to deny the creation thing, and they're also trying to deny the second law of thermodynamics, which which says that all things go from a state of order to a state of disorder, which means very simply and very scientifically that you must have creative input for there to be order. But you see, if we deny God, then we can somehow boost our low self-esteem feelings by trying to make ourselves look better than what's around us. So that's another manifestation of the super low self-esteem. But anyway, let's get back to this simple train of thought. So we start with this basic concept or assumption, if you will, or projection or theory, that this is all created. Now, I have looked under microscopes, and I have looked through telescopes, and I have, from an engineering standpoint, looked at this world from a wide range of magnification, and have never seen any example of anything that was not an absolutely awesome illustration of order, planning, and intricate design. So is it reasonable then to make the next statement that the Creator, whoever, whatever,